So about 9 years ago, I was down at San Diego racetrack here in Southern California. I went down there to go bet on the ponies, and it was an unfortunate day. There was three horses that were euthanized. It was just grotesque. They crashed, one fell, one, they all broke their foot, and it was just bad. That's the last time I've ever been to the racetrack, but it's part of the story what I'm about to tell you. So if you want to hear a good story, just bear with me. So after all that, we left. I won a couple bucks, in disbelief, because to seeing horses put down these thoroughbreds, they're absolutely magnificent creatures, but to see them put down was pretty rough to deal with. Anyways, after that, left the track, went down the street, went to KFC, and every once in a while I'll see somebody that randomly just hits me like a ton of bricks that says, you know what, let me buy them dinner, let me buy them lunch, let me buy them something, let me take care of their bill, their meal, whatever it is. So this older couple, pretty elderly, was right in front of me, and I stepped in. I said, excuse me. I said, you know what, let me go ahead and take care of that for you. And the gentleman said, no, don't worry about it, I'll take care of it. And I was like, no, I got it, I insist. And they're like, well, thank you very much. That was it. Paid for their meal, paid for my meal, and pretty much went to go sit down. Well, a few minutes go by, the drummer gets called up for our food. I go give it to them and go back and sit down. And the little old lady, she put her hand up. She's like, come here. So I assume that she wants for me to go over so she can say thank you. Well, I was in behold for a treat. She asked me if I can sit down. So I sit down, and she points to her husband. She's like, do you know who this is? I was like, actually, I'm sorry, ma'am, I do not. So she tells him, gives him a little nudge with the elbow, says, tell him who you are. He leans up into his booth, and he leans over, and he has this look in his eyes. It's like this, like he's thinking of a memory, and he's like, well, when I was 18 years old, I was on the plane that bombed Hiroshima. And I was like, say that again? He's like, I was 18 years old, and I was on the plane that dropped the bomb in Hiroshima. I didn't know what to say. He told me the story about how they just picked him to be on this plane, and the chances are that they weren't going to make it back. And as a youth, he didn't know any better, but he was doing it for his country. Got on the plane, they handled the business, obviously they made it back home, thinking that they'll probably be shot down or something would happen on the long way back, ran out of gas, whatever the case is. I don't know personally. But he says that when he was flying, he was just praying to God that whatever happens, that God forgives him. He's telling me the story, and you can see not only the pain in his eyes, but also the pride. It was like mixed emotion, but also his mind turning, and him just recalling the memory, how old he was. And his wife is looking at him like it's the first time she's heard the story, but I'm sure she's heard it plenty of times. But for him to share that with me was pretty awe-inspiring. It was amazing in itself. You don't know who's around, and by doing some random act of kindness, I was able to meet a gentleman. Whether you agree or disagree with what he did, it's part of history. I told him, thank you for your service. Shook his hand, and he had a pretty firm grip. And told the lady thank you, and they thanked me for the purchase of the meal and so forth. I went to sit down. So I went back to sit down. My friends were looking at me like, I guess how it goes. I was like, do you know who that dude is? And they were like, nah. I was like, he was 18 years old. He was on the plane that dropped the bomb in Hiroshima. And all of them looked over. They waved. It's a little cool, awkward moment, right? The reason why I tell this story, because it was brought to my attention recently that what I do quite a bit, and I do it just because it's something that I do all the time. Whenever I see anybody with a hat, usually a veteran of, could be Marines, Army, Air Force, Navy, no matter what it is, they have their hats, they wear them proudly. I always walk up to them, I extend my hand, I tell them, thank you for your service, welcome home. All the time. If they're with somebody, excuse me, I don't want to interject, but I'd like to thank you for your service. Sometimes they will tell me what year they're in, what rank they were, what they did, how long they served, And when they start telling me stuff, I ask them, what was your best memory? And they're quick to tell me some great memories. Sometimes they have this look in their eyes of just sorrow, and they tell me a very painful memory. But I'm making this video because not too long ago, I ran into a gentleman at a restaurant. He had his hat on, and I walked up to him and said, "Thank you for your service. Welcome home." He shook my hand so tight. He's very old, much older than I am. Shook my hand so tight. The look in his eyes, he said, "Thank you." No one has said anything to him in over 10 years. That broke my heart. That really broke my heart. Gave him a hug. His wife turned around and gave me a hug. It was a beautiful moment. I just want to share that with you because our veterans are absolutely amazing. They're absolute heroes. If you get a chance to see someone wearing a hat, usually the hats are not new, they're old. They have some pins on them once in a while, or they have their jackets and they're veterans. You don't have to make a big scene. Just walk up to them and tell them, "Thank you for your service. Welcome home." You would not only make their day, you could possibly make their week. Just want to share that. God bless. Have a good day. And to our veterans, thank you for your service. God bless.